Hi.
Hello and good morning. Hi, today we have Kourtney Levens with us. So I will start the introduction.
I'm excited.
So Kourtney and I have become friends over the last few years. It was kind of a lovely chance meeting, I think, that we had where we're on shows, Beyond the Ordinary show, and we're on, both of us are on Darius's show, You Wealth Revolution. And I think somewhere in there we did sessions with each other and we just got to talking. Our businesses are quite similar, and we just became friends and hit it off so well. But I'll give you a formal introduction here. Kourtney is a spiritual advisor and angel communicator. And for over 15 years, Kourtney Levens has used her divine gifts to help her beloved clients align with their higher purpose, increasing their life's fulfillment and contributing to doing work in the world. Clients all over all industries and backgrounds turn to Kourtney for her expertise and direction. She is the founder of the Spirit Whisper program. Her inspired advice has supported her clients to tap into their natural intuitive gifts and determine their strengths so that they are awakened and ignited to make significant life changes, like embarking on new careers, starting new businesses, and marrying their soulmates. So delivered with love and compassion, Kourtney's divine messages have helped her clients heal, gain clarity on what they truly desire, and eliminate limiting beliefs impeding their progress, confidence, and motivation. So she has had testimonials from some greats such as Darius, I can't pronounce his last name, but producers of shows and others around the globe who have worked with her and appreciated her work. So I'm just going to let Kourtney take over, and she's going to teach us a lot of good stuff as we say goodbye to 2022 and soar into 2023 with her and her angel team that she's bringing to us in this wonderful class. So Kourtney, take it over. Anxious to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not just absolutely adore Deb whenever she's got the greatest background and just absolutely the sweetest woman on earth, right? We had a great kind of a kismet chemistry connection whenever we met. I mean, how can you not like her, right? I mean, she's just kind of like everybody's BFF. But yes, I do. I work with the angels quite a bit. Quite a bit. That might be a little bit of an understatement. So every day, all day, that's what I do is I work with the angels and I help other people come to know the angels more. Where, it's my belief that if you can walk, you can dance. Don't ask me to dance though. If you can talk, you can sing. I don't sing very well either. But my belief is that if you have a conscious, then you can tune in and you've got angels around you all the time, no matter what you've done, who want to help you. And it's not like reserved for people like Mother Teresa or, Buddha or Gandhi. They're the only ones who have angels. Each one of you have angels right now. You have angels who have been with you from the time you entered this life, from incarnation until the time you cross over. You have angels who are like the managers of angels. And you may have even heard them called the archangels, like Archangel Michael. Some religions even refer to him as Saint Michael. So you may even be familiar with that name. You've got those angels. Did you know that you have the angels of parking spots? They will help you. The angels of there's nothing in my closet and what am I gonna wear? They're there to help you. You have the angels of romance, the angels of coworkers, the angels of house cleaning, which I probably need to call on a little bit more often. But you have all of these angels around you who want to help you. And the way you ask them to help or get them to help you is so simple because anybody can do it. You think it, you say it, you write it down. And what you are saying is, angels, I need some help in this. Before I go beat my teenage daughter who thinks she knows everything about everything, please give me a little bit of grace in this. Angels, give me that motivation I need, especially with it being New Year's, right? Oh, I got to start that new diet. I had the funniest thing happen to me whenever I decided I was going to like get really healthy and everything. And it's like, I'm going to put these angels to work. Angels, if it's really what y'all want me to do to get in shape, then y'all better make me want to do it. How's that for a test? Believe it or not, I got kind of excited about wanting to work out. I said, okay, fine. Y'all want me to work out? You're going to have to get me out of bed at the crack of dawn. I didn't know how they were going to do that because it was very, very hard for me to wake up. But I'd just gotten this little puppy. And once I asked for them to give me help waking up, that dog every morning, 5 o'clock, would get in my neck and nuzzle and whine. And well, you can't sleep with a dog doing that, this little bitty puppy, and it wakes you up so sweetly. So then I was awake at 5 o'clock in the morning, even wanting to work out. So then I said, okay, I'm here, I'm doing it. Let's do it. Oh, well, then my knees started hurting and my shins were hurting. I said, oh, there's another reason I can't do this anymore. Y'all better take that away. And they did. And I said, well, this is working pretty good. But you know what? I need to drink more water. Can y'all help with that too? And this is all this same kind of conversation, right? Can y'all make me drink more water? I've never been so thirsty in all my life, like to the point friends of mine said, I hear that's a symptom of diabetes, that if you're really thirsty all the time, there's probably something wrong with you. So I want you to know this is water and I have it every morning, refill it every day. Sometimes the cup will change and I'll get the 44 ounces. But that is one thing I have not asked them to take away is that desire for water because it's supposedly really, really good for you. But that's the kind of stuff you can ask your angels to do. Now, what gets a little tricky is when you say, okay, I want them to help me with this, but how do I know they're helping me? How do I know they really hear me? How do I know when I get this message or sign that it's not just me being a kook? Because I can be as goofy as the rest of them, right? I could probably drive the bus there, lead the way. So here's how you know. You have your own very personal psychic communication style. You do. And it's very unique to you. It's very specific to you. And once you know that, then you kind of understand when and how they're communicating with you. And that when you're asking them for signs that they're around, you know how to receive them. So get your pen and paper because I'm going to ask you a few questions. I want you to write down number one, think back to your favorite movie. Now, does it have to be your very favorite? No, but think of one that really stands out. And what is it you remember about that movie? Do you remember, oh my gosh, it was the greatest love story in the world and it just made me feel so good. And oh, I cried or I laughed, or it was that new, Top Gun movie. And I was just looking at all the different jets and the planes flying over, or was it the soundtrack? Do you remember all the music? Or are you like my husband who can recite every line to every movie? Is it what you heard that really stands out? Or maybe it's all the scenes. You remember that one scene where they're standing on the top of the mountain. It's breathtaking. It's so beautiful. Or did you know how it was going to end? You knew something that you didn't know how you knew, but you just knew it. Is that what you remember the most? Okay. Got it written down? Number two, think about the most recent holiday. Maybe you celebrated Christmas or Thanksgiving or Halloween. What is it that stands out in your mind the most about this time? Do you remember? Can you believe what she wore to the party? Oh my gosh. she wore this and looked like this, and you remember up and down, and it blinded you. There were too many sequins and glitter. Or is it that you remember the excitement and the feeling and the joy of everybody being together, or the anticipation of getting to see someone or open presents? Or do you remember the sound? Because maybe it was Christmas and Jingle Bell Rock played over and over and over again, and you can't get that song out of your head. Or do you remember knowing who was going to be there, who was going to say something, who was going to get what gift? Now, this isn't, you can't just say, oh, I know so and so is going to get into an argument because they get into a fight every year, and I'm just going to sit here and watch and laugh. Now, this has to be something that you couldn't have known, but you just knew. Okay, got it written down. Now, the third thing I want you to think of is a person you recently met.
Hmm.
What do you remember about this person? Do you remember the way he or she looked? Maybe they were dressed to the nine, looked like they had it all together, or just beautiful, or just yuck. Maybe you said, ooh, I want my hair to do that. Or do you remember the way they spoke? Did they have one of those wonderful accents that you could just listen to him talk all day long? And the sound of it is just the best thing your ears have ever heard. Or was it the way they made you feel? Was it an emotion, something you felt like you just instantly liked them? Or did you go, ooh, that's bad juju? Staying away from that. Or did you know something about this person that there was no way you could have known? But maybe you knew, oh, I bet when they grew up, it was this and this and this. Or you even knew their birthday. Okay. So go through these three things, and we're going to tally it up. Of your answers, is feeling the most common answer? And you can have more than one. But how many of you have more things for feeling than anything else? Okay. Congratulations. You are what we call clairsentient, clear feeling. You are the person who can walk into a room and go, ooh, somebody's fighting over there. Or, ooh, I don't like the feel of this place. Or you've walked into a home and you've gone, this is it. You have that feeling, that gut instinct. That gut instinct is right there at your solar plexus. And when somebody's talking to you and you don't like them, you ever notice you do this, cross your arms? You're actually blocking that energy center because you are an empath or sensitive. And maybe you've even been told you're too sensitive. Did any of y'all get that? Oh, I got called a titty baby my whole life. Don't ever change, because your sensitivity is really a blessing for everybody. There are enough hardened old crotchety people in the world. So your sensitivity is a blessing, and we're glad you like that. How many of you had that it was something you saw? You looked and that's what you remembered. If it's something visual, you are what we call clairvoyant, clear seeing. Your third eye, your mind's eye, or even your physical eyes are the way you receive messages predominantly. Now, does this mean you're going to look over and see full-bodied apparitions? No. So don't worry about that. They're not going to show you anything you don't want to see, and you have full control over what you see and don't see. So just by doing this, I don't want y'all to worry that you're going to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and seeing ghosts at the end of your bed. They won't let that happen. When you are clairvoyant, you are a person who can easily remember things. You see them in your mind's eye. Maybe your dreams are vivid. Maybe you even remember your dream. Are you a person who does that? Even better, are you a person who walks into the house and turns on every light in every room, opens up all the blinds, moves all the curtains because you have to have the light. That's your clairvoyant. Sometimes the rooms are just too dark and we need to see what's going on, don't we? So by turning all the lights on, we can see, and we're very visual people. And when we say that we are clairvoyant, know that that also includes the sense of smell, smelling perfume, smelling smoke. Nobody's smoking, nobody's cooking, fireplace isn't on. That's also considered clairvoyance. And when we say clairvoyance and third eye, I'm going to do a little demonstration with you in a few minutes that tells you the difference between seeing with your physical eyes versus your third eye. And we'll talk about how you can open that. How many of you remember the sound, the way the person spoke, the soundtrack, something that was said? Okay. Congratulations, you are what we call clairaudient. That's clear hearing. Have you ever heard your name called at night or in the morning, just waking up out of sleep and you hear someone call your name, but nobody's there? That's actually your angels wanting you to know we are around you, we are here, we have heard your prayers, we have heard your desires, and we're here for you. Now, sometimes it can scare you because you get up and you go, who's that? But rest assured, it's them and they're here just for comfort. You hear the phone ring or the doorbell. Y'all ever done that? And nobody's there. I swear to you, when my kids heard me say this, they started doing it on purpose just to jack with me. But you're a person who's clairaudient. Now, with that, know that this clair, the sound, is the last of these clairs, the last of these extrasensory perceptions to develop. So if you are clairaudient, you have all of the clairs. It's just this one may be your stronger one. You can use all of these gifts in tandem. We can smell and taste at the same time. So know that you can feel and see or hear at the same time as well. With that clairaudience, you're also a person who's going to be sensitive to sound. So a radio on the wrong station, maybe a little out of tune, or even the volume up a half a notch too much will set you off. And you walk in and go, turn that down. And you don't mean to be that ugly and you know, harsh about it, but that's the way it is. And when your senses start to open, you will notice that things get a little bit louder and maybe even colors get a little bit brighter. So know that that's one of the ways you know that your psychic senses are opening, your intuition is increasing. But the sound will be very, very acute hearing almost. Now, not to be confused with when you get over the age of 29, like I am, because I'm just 29 and a half. But when you get to that age and you're trying to hear things and you can't hear, you say, what'd you say? It's really because they're mumbling intentionally. That has nothing to do with your hearing. You can hear perfectly, okay? But that clairaudience, that helps you hear what most people can't. Now, the fourth and the final of the clairs that we're going to talk about today, this is the claircognizant. This is the knowing. This is a download, some people call. This is that knowing. Have you ever finished somebody else's sentence? That's your claircognizant. When you both say the same thing at the same time, especially when you are in close proximity, a few feet, how many times have you ever been sitting next to someone and you both started thinking about, I want to eat this, or let's watch this movie, or you think about a previous conversation from hours before and start talking about it at the same time, or go, I was thinking about that. That's your claircognizant. And as energy, it's in your aura, it's in your energetic personal space, right? So you are psychically, intuitively picking up on their thoughts and claircognizance and their knowing. And when your auras overlap like that, and you get to know somebody well enough, that's going to happen quite a bit. A little bit different than mind reading. Okay, I'm not saying that we're going through and we're reading people's minds, but that is that ability. You know who's calling. You know what's going to be on TV. In college, my sister, MTV had just come out, right? She used to pull up to her apartment complex and go, go turn on MTV. It's, you know, Poison or it's Motley Crue or something. And her roommate always just laughed because she knew she would be right. Go in there, turn on the TV. Sure enough, it was their video. It got to be so commonplace that nobody thought anything of it. But that was her actually using her claircognizance to know what was going to be playing. Sometimes you and your friends will call and text each other at the same time, right? Know that that's also that claircognizance. Y'all have those energetic connections, even what we call cords, ties. You don't want you to cut ties with that person, that kind of thing. Those are those energetic surgical tubing connections we have with other people, those cords. One reason why if we break up with somebody, we can't stop thinking about them. My gosh, is that not just drive you crazy? It's one of the reasons why we rehash an argument so much. Because that person's thinking about it, we're thinking about it. We have that invisible tubing, that tie, that cord, that connection. So that energy goes back and forth. So, how did y'all do on this? Was it fun? Was it exciting? Was it different than what you thought? So, here's how to put that to work. When you are asking your angels for a sign, maybe you say, Angels, I'm trying to decide, should I go on this trip or should I go on this trip? Should I go on this trip at all? Should I go now? Should I go later? For me personally, I have found that when I'm asking for a sign or wanting to talk to my angels, I have to limit myself to one question in 24 hours. Because when you ask them for a sign, you will get your answer in 24 hours. And if you don't, it just means you missed it. So go back and ask again. But ask them, should I go on this trip to Hawaii? When I was starting out, I was trying to decide if I was going to go get my certification or not. I'd always had an interest in angels, and every now and then we get to go to the Renaissance Festival once every few years. And of course, I'd always go to the fortune teller, the psychic, the palm reader, because it was just so fun. Of course, I always wanted to know, am I going to have a boyfriend? Am I going to have a date for homecoming? What's going to happen at this Friday night's football game? That kind of stuff, the real important stuff that you need to know, as a teenager. So I always had an interest in it. But it wasn't until, I almost hate to say this, I started hearing voices and music. And being single, all of my neighbors knew I was single and that if they had a friend, they needed to hook me up. So I'm, 24, 23, 24, 25 when I got my house. And I heard all these people having a party outside. And I was like, what is going on? They're having a party. They didn't invite me. They know I'm single. How could they do that? So I sneaked down and went over to the window and pulled back the blinds, completely expecting cars up and down all sides of the street, people standing in the yard. It was that loud. And I looked and there was nobody there. And I really thought I was losing my mind. I got back in bed, started reading my book again, and there it was again. And I could hear these conversations. I couldn't tell what they were saying, not specifically, but I could hear it. I must be crazy. And then the next night, same thing, but I was hearing music. And like I said, I can't sing, I can't dance, but my family is kind of musically inclined. And so I should be able to recognize the different instruments. Is that a piano? Is that a guitar? Is that a harp? And I couldn't make out the different instruments. And when I started to listen to it, like really kind of put my central hearing, if you will, on it, it went away. But when I went back to read my book, it was there. I thought, What's the tune? What's the melody? Again, when I started to concentrate on it, it went away. There were no words. And as corny and as cliche as this sounds, it was the most celestial music I'd ever heard. Just beautiful. So I did what every young woman in Houston, Texas would do if she starts hearing voices in music. I went to the doctor and made it stop. And they will give you enough medication to make anything like that stop. Of course, looking back on it, I found out it was my angels. But during this time, I was going through some turmoil. My mom died. She wasn't supposed to die. She was diagnosed with tongue cancer. You don't die from that. They had the surgery. They said we ought to do some chemo. The chemo actually killed her. It was horrible. We buried her on my 28th birthday. And the whole reason I say this is because the angels were actually coming to me ahead of time to support me and be there for me during this. And I totally didn't know. Just made them go away. So when I had another thought-provoking encounter that made me say, maybe I should do more with the angels. Maybe I'll go to Hawaii and get my certification. I needed a sign. My mom had always believed in signs, so let's ask for a sign. Angels, I need to know if I should go to Hawaii. Driving down the road, downtown Houston, into work, right? Fun traffic. And I start looking around and realize the car in front of me has a bumper sticker that says Hawaii. And I went, oh, okay, there's one. There's one tally mark for Hawaii, but I need 3. So let me look for another one. Houston, Texas, a car passes me, their license plate is Hawaii. Has that ever happened to anybody? That's never happened to me before or since. But I was like, that's 2. Okay, I definitely need to have one more. Need to have one more. And sure enough, the billboard said Hawaii, and it was an advertisement for Hawaii. And those were my signs that yes, I was going to Hawaii. So I figured that was enough. I probably shouldn't ask again because if I didn't get it, then I was going to be totally confused. So know that when you ask for the signs, you'll get it. And it didn't mean that I was going to have an apparition appear or the angel come sit down in front of me and tell me, or a text message. But because clairvoyance was my strongest extrasensory perception, my communication style, that was how I saw it. Bumper stickers, license plate holder, billboards. So when you ask for a sign and you ask your angels for a message, know that they are going to use that communication style that is your strongest one in tandem with the others, but that's how they're going to deliver messages. So if you are a person who is clairaudient, the hearing, and you're asking for a sign if you should do this job, or move here or here, start eavesdropping when you go to a restaurant and hear what other people are talking about, because you'll probably overhear the name of the company or the town in a conversation. You may hear it on the radio. You may get a message in a song. And if you are a person who is claircognizant or knowing, within 24 hours, you're going to know. Now, if you're like I am, when I was starting out and I didn't believe it or trust it, then I had to ask again and then ask again and make sure I got my 3 signs. You can do that too. Believe it or not, over the years, my faith has actually built up a little bit. So now when I ask for a sign and they give me an answer, I usually go with it. And I'm kind of proud of myself now that I've finally graduated to that level of faith and belief. But it can be difficult whenever you say, well, should I do this or should I do that? And you get a rainbow. Yay, I got a rainbow. That means I should do this job. Or does it mean I see a rainbow and wait, that's a promise that it's going to get better? Do I stay at this job? So you see how it can kind of have a double-edged sword. So when you ask your questions, you want to get real specific. Angels, if this is the best thing for me to do at this time, then I want a sign. Or I want to turn on the radio and hear my code word in a song. Have y'all ever tried this? So trying to get my signs and my messages, I always wasn't that great at, but I decided, you know what, unequivocally, I'm not in charge of what's played on the radio. So I came up with my code word, just my angels, and I knew it. And it was real original, still is. Angel. That's my code word. Okay. If this is what I'm supposed to be doing, if this is the best choice for me, I want to turn on the radio and hear the word angel in a song. I'll never forget it. I had gone to this woo-woo meetup group, and this girl said, "Wow, you've got a really bright aura. It's really strong energy." And I was like, "Really? Tell me what's it look like?" Because I didn't know anything. She said, "You've got this direct beam of light. It just comes straight from your head. It's really white." And I think she said it was like crystalline energy and sounded really cool. I didn't know what the heck it meant. I was like, "Yeah." So I left and I was really kind of on cloud nine, but I was driving all this traffic and through this construction. And I was like, is this what I just go back to selling motorcycles, work in the family business? That's what I've done my whole life, right? Swinging the pendulum the other way to go talk to angels and woo-woo stuff. My dad was really having a hard time with it. So angels, if I'm supposed to continue doing the woo-woo, I need a sign. And I got in the car and driving through traffic and construction and just almost a little frazzled, but I went, "Oh, I love this song." And I turned up the radio and it was the band Aerosmith playing their song Angel. And it was the loudest, most in your face sign and confirmation. And I said, "Well, I don't think I can argue with that." But it was absolutely beautiful the way it all happened. So know that you can do that when you're choosing a word, a code word. I like to have something a little bit unique, maybe not as common, maybe not the word love, maybe not the word, well, I tend to listen to a lot of country. So maybe not dog, train, beer, whiskey, those kinds of things, but something that's a little bit unique. I have one client, she says she used watermelon. I had told that story in front of my 9-year-old daughter, and she said, "I'm going to use pineapple." I said, "Okay." I don't know that I've ever heard a song with pineapple in it, but I tell you what, she asked the question between us and the ice cream store, wanting to know if she was going to get ice cream. And yeah, a song with pineapple came on. It was the crazy thing. I was like, "Did he just say pineapple? I've never heard a song with pineapple in it." And she was like, kids are a lot of fun with this. And sometimes I think they get the messages a lot faster and stronger and clearer. I want to talk to y'all now about the difference between seeing with your physical eyes and third eye. Raise your hands again. How many of y'all got that your strongest communication style was the seeing, the clairvoyance? Yeah. Okay. And know that again, this works in tandem with your clairsentience, that feeling. So you may see someone and have that feeling of, "Oh, I feel like we've known each other forever," like with Deb, right? Or, "Oh, ooh, that's bad juju. I don't want to go near that." To know that they can work in tandem. But if you've got your pen, look at your pen. When you hold your pen out in front of you and you're looking at it with your physical eyes. You see it, it's there. You see about where your eyes go to meet that pen, your line of sight. Now, if I said, think about your favorite movie again, where do your eyes go? Do you notice that your line of sight goes from the pen, maybe up a little bit? So that upwardness is activating your third eye. When we see things with our mind's eye, it's our third eye. And if every one of you were able to think back to your favorite movie or a person you've met or a holiday and could visualize it, congratulations. Every one of you is clairvoyant. You can clearly see because you were able to see with your third eye, your mind's eye. How you like that? You're all psychic. May not have even known it, but yes, you all are intuitively open and aware. Now, again, it does not mean that you're going to have full-bodied apparitions show up at the foot of your bed in the middle of the night. So that's how you know the difference between your physical eyes and your third eye. And know that if they're communicating with you through your clairvoyance or clear seeing, that it may be that something pops up on your social media feed or you read an article. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be with your third eye or in your mind's eye. It could be a dream. It could be somebody handing you a newspaper or magazine or a billboard or the numbers on the clock. They line up to 11:11 all the time. So seeing those numbers are also your angel signs of letting you know that they're around. And we could go into the numerology. I love you. I love that. That's a whole nother conversation. But no, it's one of the ways that your angels are communicating with you clairvoyantly, clear seeing, to let you know they're around and they're answering your questions. So now we're going to do an exercise. Have y'all ever heard of remote viewing? Yes. There are even some rumors that during the Cold War, Russia was training people, training spies to do remote viewing on the United States. So the United States found out about this. So they said, we're going to do the same thing. Do you know they were pulling people off the street to test them with remote viewing?
Kourtney, can you please tell us what exactly remote viewing is? There might be some people who
Yeah.
are confused on it. Thanks.
So remote viewing is where you are given, let's say, an address or the coordinates of a location. And you are able to picture it in your mind's eye. And I'll even slow it down and teach you exactly how to do it. But have you ever lost your cell phone or your car keys? Happens every day in my family. And I go, crap, where is it? Where did we put it? And we're searching the whole house. And then finally somebody says, Mom, tune in. We forget. So then I tune in and go, okay, send me to the place where the phone is. And I ask for that and close my eyes. And in my mind's eye, I can see where the phone is. Usually it's in the couch. So it's really, really dark. And I have to kind of zoom out and look around and see if I can get it at a different angle. But remote viewing is being able to be in an isolated location where you are and seeing something you don't have access to. Being able to see something at a distance, see something that is not physically in front of you where you are. So you are remotely viewing something. Make sense? So when I teach my students and my clients how to do this, one of the things I want them to know is they have complete control over what they're going to see. So someone who is maybe a little fearful, they don't want to see something bad, they don't want to see bad juju. So I tell them, you set up your rules. And I teach it's called the rules of engagement. But for this exercise, we're going to use my rules of engagement, which are we're not going to see anything that scares us. We're not going to see anything we don't want to see. We're not going to mess with any bad juju or beings that aren't from God. So we are getting all of our information from source, creator, spirit, God, from the angels. And only the highest source, the highest divine light, spiritual plane, covering all my bases here, going straight up. And that everything that we are given is for the benefit of everybody involved. It's to help us. We're not going to be getting any warning. We're not going to be getting any threats or anything like that. This is all easy, love, positive, and really to encourage you and support you in your own personal psychic communication style, your own intuitive strength and ability, because it is your birthright. It is something you are born with. And it's my belief everybody has it. Now, I told you I'm not a good dancer or singer, but there are people who are naturally can dance or naturally sing beautifully. So it's kind of like that. You have this natural gift, skill, ability, but let's say I wanted to be a better dancer. I could go take dance lessons and I'd get better. They'd have a lot of work to do with me because I have no rhythm. But it is also one of those skills that you can practice on and work on. And as you do, it gets stronger, it gets clearer, get more accurate, it gets a lot easier. You get to do it on command and on demand. So for this exercise, what I'm going to do is give you an address and you are going to tune into it, so to speak. You'll have your psychic receptors open, your clairvoyance, your seeing, your clairsentience, your feeling, your clairaudience, your hearing, your claircognizance, your knowing. And we're going to send that energy to the location. And when you get to that location energetically, you're going to allow yourself to see, hear, feel, and know what's around you, what's in front of you, so that you can get a sense, perception of what's at that location. Then you'll write everything down that you get. And then I will put the picture up on the screen and you will see how accurate you are. Okay? So I'm going to give you the address and let you write it down first. And then we'll do the prayer and I'll set us up to go in safely and view it. So the address is 12015. So 12015. Eagle, like the bird. Ridge, like the top of a mountain. Drive. 12015 Eagle Ridge Drive. And that's in Mont Belvieu, Texas. MONT, second word BELVIEU. And just to give you a little bit of a geographic landmark, it is just to the east of Houston, a little suburb out there. Sometimes when you write things down, you will notice that your handwriting changes a little bit. That's the energy of that location coming through. Not quite automatic writing, but can even be considered a form of automatic writing. And when I write people's names down, I get a lot of information about that person just from writing down their name. So you might look at it and go, oh, was there an extra curly Q on the end of one of the words? Does that mean that someone is artistic or creative? You cannot write Deb's name without 50 million curly Qs happening whenever you write it because she is so artistically inclined. Okay, so are you ready? We're going to go into this and you are sitting in your seat in your home. And I want you to imagine a map of, let's say, the United States or the world in front of you. And wherever you are is going to be your starting point. And as I do the prayer, you're going to send your energy up out the top of your head, and I will guide you through this. At the top of your head, and like a rainbow, arc over and land in Texas, specifically at that address. So that's what you're doing. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take some breaths in, get relaxed, get focused, and I will call in the angels. God, Holy Spirit, we align with your highest light, the highest source, the highest plane of existence, and we yield to you and all of your angels and archangels, your masters and guides from the angelic realm and beyond, to take us to this location safely with protection, and enjoyment, encouraging us to open all of our energy centers, all of our psychic receptors, allowing our intuition to be at its peak, for our awareness to allow us to see, hear, feel, and know the images and the energy of this location. And so now sending the energy from your body through your torso, up your head, out your crown chakra, and arc it over and land down at 12015 Eagle Ridge Drive, Mont Bellevue, Texas. And now I want you to imagine standing in the middle of the street and you are looking directly at this address. Look around in your mind's eye. And what do you see? What do you feel? Are you hearing any noises? What do you know about this place? I will tell you this is a residence. And as you begin to see things or get images or sense or feel what's in front of you, begin to write it down. Know that there is no right or wrong to this. So even if you think, oh no, there's no way I could be seeing that, write it down. Knowing it's a residence, you might even ask, can I see the driveway? Which side is the driveway on? Are you able to zoom in and see the front door? Y'all are doing amazing. I love seeing the energy. Y'all are just arcing it over and looking around beautifully. You're completely safe in what you're seeing. Your angels are around you. I'll give you just a few more seconds. Are y'all ready to see it? Okay. Here's the house. Everything's dead because it froze. Did any of y'all get the basketball goal? All the cars? We moved all the cars over so the kids could play basketball for Christmas. I'm going to come in a little closer so you can see the front of the house. That's really bright. How many of y'all got that peek? The door. Okay, now we'll run back in. And I'm going to let y'all unmute yourselves so you can tell me the different things you got and see how accurate you were. Okay, so who feels like they did pretty well? Yeah?
Okay. All right. So Terry, you were first to raise your hand saying you did pretty good. Let's unmute you and see what you got. That was
Hi,
close.
let's see. I got a large family home. I got the light bricks, a brick home in a beautiful neighborhood. I had the garage on the wrong side though.
It's
Um,
okay because there are times that we'll see the mirror image. Okay. So
Okay,
you're okay there.
the large front door with the high, and the straight walkway up to the front of the house. But yeah, was pretty much it. The overall image, I think, was what I got.
When you tuned in, were you standing in the street or did you find yourself hovering over it?
I was in the street.
Good. Okay. Because sometimes it comes through different ways. Even if you say this is what I want to do, sometimes, we plan, God laughs and says, okay. But did you get the arch at the front door?
I didn't get the arch at the front door. I got the front door. It was an open space, but it wasn't an arch.
Okay. Sometimes there would be 2 or 3 things that people will get the peak or the arch. Okay, who else had their hand raised?
Eugenia, you can unmute. Hi.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I have, I saw the door clearly with glass. I love it, the arc as well. The only thing, I saw the house through the street, and but I saw very light color, like pure white. But that was the energy of the house, what I first perceived, and the harmony and the angelic energy around that. I saw, I have the perception of 2 garage doors, but with like being really 3, like three, the space of 3 garage, but I saw only 2 doors.
You are correct. I don't know if y'all could see that in there. It's
Yeah,
2 doors that open, but it's 3. Yeah.
yeah, that one that was big. As I was confused because I say it's like a 3 garage door, but it has only 2 doors, and the weather and a little breeze and the smell of this area, it was amazing. I really enjoy, and it's not really cold there. Here is so. I am in Canada and it's freezing. Everything is white, so I was shocked with the difference, the different perception of the climate. So very nice. Thank you for these exercises. I really enjoy.
You're welcome. You did phenomenally well. It's interesting that you saw the energy. How many of y'all saw the white or sensed the white? Whenever I would do this with my clients, there were so many times that I was going, why are y'all seeing white? And they were like, there's just this cloud of white. It's like on the house. And so finally I was like, okay, well, I better just ask. So I tuned in. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, these two. And I was like, oh, that's the energy. Oh, that's the energy of the house. And of course, this is my house. Excuse me. This is my house. This is where my office is. And my office ceiling goes up to the 2nd story. So with that really high ceiling, there's a lot of space for all the angelic members to be in here because it gets crowded really quickly. But yes, it goes up, and it was really, really neat. So I'm glad you picked up on that. That's a
Thank
great
you.
job. Great job.
Good job. Yeah. And then Linda Sims, you can unmute.
Yeah, I think I'm unmuted. I had some pretty strong impressions, and I realized I have some clairvoyance and also clairsentience. It felt initially, so first of all, I saw the house on the left side of the street. Strong sense of a family living there. I sensed it was yours, which is probably not hard to do, but I wasn't thinking about it. It was just sort of like, I think Kourtney lives there. It felt like a friendly neighborhood, children around, driveway and garage were on the left side. The house was tan with white. And now I'm trying to think, is that what it was tan, right? With white trim? That
It is this disgusting brown, the most
brown.
heinous color of brown, but but it's okay because we've lived here long enough that I go, it's kind of grown on me. But the white is more of the energy that you're picking up. It's tan, light brown. Yes.
Yeah, it was light. Yeah, I've sensed the lightness anyway, that it looked like a tan house. I had your door as brown or reddish orange, so so I don't think I got all of this right.
But whoa.
I saw
Before
some
you
things.
start judging yourself,
Oh, okay.
that
I'm
reddish
sorry,
orange can very definitely be energy that has been put up around that door, because it's one of my rules. I don't let in bad juju. So if there's any nefarious energy trying to come into my house, there's that red. It's
Mhm.
not physical, but it's energetic of, no, you have to stop. So, and that's the thing. We all start judging ourselves and go, oh, I got that wrong. Well, no. Okay. So yeah, because you're seeing the energy of that of, if you're bad juju, you're not coming in. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Thank you. I hadn't thought of that. I saw going in the door, a living room, a glass door. If you went straight through a glass sliding door, kitchen to the left, near that sliding door, a hallway with bedrooms, and definitely family living there, 2 or 3 teenage kids.
Very, very good. Not quite a glass sliding door, but my office, when you first walk in, my office is on the right if you go through the front door. And and I have told my kids I will kill them and beat them within an inch of their lives if they come up to the front of the house. So almost like a sliding glass door, energetically, they're not allowed to come back here. I'm like, don't, unless you are bleeding, throwing up, don't come up here. So yes, symbolically, the sliding glass door is accurate. And then going into the den in the kitchen. And I would love to show you the den in the kitchen, but my house looks like a tornado has gone through it. So I won't be showing that. We have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old daughter, and then a 22-year-old who sort of lives here. She's getting married, so she goes back and forth between his parents and us and her mom on the other side of Houston. So she's in and out. So there's a lot of family and energy and hustle and bustle. So
Mhm.
yes, you are right about that. Great job. Great job.
Thank you,
Thank
Linda.
you. Thank you.
And Katie, you have your hand raised. Hi.
Hi. Oh, that was a fun experience. I had some company in my house. They were all kind of getting ready to leave right during the process, so I was really trying hard to focus. But I came up with a white stucco house, and it had a very peaceful feeling about it in a beautiful neighborhood. There were beautiful trees. There was a calm breeze, and I got that the driveway was on the left side of the house, and that there was a big brass knocker on the door. And I don't know if that's if that's
I would
accurate, but
love to have a white stucco house. That's like my dream. Um, the knocker, you were close. So I have that wreath. A friend of mine made me that wreath. And so it has that metal hook that goes over the door and comes
Okay.
down. A couple of y'all have talked about the climate here. It is supposed to be 77 degrees today.
Oh,
So y'all are exactly right. For me, like the neighbor kids are outdoors playing and they have on shorts, you know. Um, Mild breeze. It was funny, it's supposed to be raining all day today.
mm,
We had a little bit of rain this morning, but it's cleared up and beautiful. So for you to see that, yes. One person had written in the comments in the chat box that they saw a dark car on the right-hand side of the driveway. I don't know if y'all could see that, but looking at my driveway, in front of the house is my husband's white truck going perpendicular to the driveway. The driveway itself has a little black Honda Civic on the right side of the driveway. May have even been blocked by his truck. Little I think hers is a two-door, maybe it's a four-door, I'm not sure. But a little black car. So there is a black car. Did any of y'all get that the garage doors were up? Did any of y'all see any of the garage doors being up? I had a client who had gotten that one time when we did this, and she was just about to fall over. She was like, "Don't open," and I was like, "Good girl." That's something that can be very, very difficult. But for y'all to actually walk into the house is beautiful. Katie, for you to sit there and be able to get as much as you did when you had so many extra things energetically going on where you are, that's incredible. It shows a lot about your focus. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to say or mention or ask about?
Well, I was tuning in the whole time, and I was doing sketching because I'm just visual that way. And I got pillars, and when I saw your house, it's like, oh, the front door kind of has two brick things going up in the front, and I got a lot of peaks, and your house does have a lot of peaks, but I drew them as dormers. So the house I drew is more craftsman style, a little bit more boxy. And I did get the color brown, but I also got the color green. And I'm thinking maybe green was healing energy,
I've been doing
or lush grass and trees, and on a good day.
on a good day when we didn't have the freeze that killed everything. It's
Wow.
interesting because yesterday I was doing a lot of clearing and a lot of healing on some of my clients, and even this morning before I got out of bed, I was doing some clearing and some healing work. So that's very, very accurate. The columns. Did anybody else get columns?
I
So
wrote
it's
down brown pillars. I didn't say
pillars.
columns, but I wrote pillars. I didn't see the arch, but I saw the brown pillars.
Cool.
So I have dreamt of a house that had almost like one of the southern plantation homes that you see, probably like Gone with the Wind or something. I don't know. I've been years since I've even seen the movie. I couldn't tell you what it looked like, but having those big white columns, that's always just been like a dream of mine. Probably because I'm live in the South, and that's like what we grow up with as our dream home. Did anybody get like circular stairs, almost like semicircle stairs that kind of billowed out? That's the way to say it.
I got a ton of stairs. I saw lots of stairs, but I didn't see a shape to them.
Okay.
Just straight.
Probably that's my dream house that I'm manifesting.
Okay. Well, and Rosemary says, what came to me was a feeling of home, in quotations, that was very welcoming. It took me to the home of a mother figure in my life. It felt like pine trees and plants, kind of with the greenery that I saw as well. Very homey.
And know that they're going to do that. When you're tuning in and doing things like that, they are going to use whatever experience you have that you can collect from an emotion, a feeling, seeing. They used to always take me to my grandmother's home. And I was like, okay, is this literal or symbolic? Because, right, they can communicate in both ways. And that's when I noticed that it was symbolic and that it was something to do with my grandmother. And know that they will use that. And that if you are thinking about someone and it takes you back to a time when you were stressed or worried or anxious about something, know that it's you picking up on their energy and you've experienced that emotion. So now you know sympathetically, empathetically, empathically what they're feeling. So I couldn't understand why I had to go through the whole gamut of thinking that I was totally crazy, hearing voices, but it has allowed me to access that emotion, those feelings when I'm working with clients to go, "Oh, your angels are talking to you. That's what this is." And so you'll feel different emotions. You'll remember your first interview, for a job or moving, all of those different times in your life. And so the feeling of home, and it took you to like the mother figure's home and that welcome. Yes, they're going to use all of that so that you can be familiar with that experience and understand it and be able to communicate that. Does that make sense?
Beautiful.
Y'all did amazing, amazing, amazing.
Well, Kourtney, thank you. That's lovely. Do you have more, or do you want to take some Q&A now? What do you have for us?
I want to talk to y'all. I want to get your questions if you want me to tune into something or if you have questions for me. I would love to do that for you. Y'all did really an amazing job, and it really goes to show you that one, you have the ability. You can do this. You all can do this. I mean, even if you close your eyes and you got nothing, that's okay. Because when I went and got my certification that whole week, I closed my eyes and I saw black. And girls would be like, "Oh, I see this wonderful aura around you, all these colors." And I was just like, going to kill him. And I was like, "Come on, I'm not seeing anything." And that whole week, we're doing readings. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not getting anything." I close my eyes, I see black. There's nothing there. I can't do this. Now, when I got home, because I was such a genius and had quit my job, I started doing readings out of my house. And I was like, "Well, if y'all want me to do this, you better bring me the people and I better see something. Y'all better be there." And I closed my eyes and I was like, "Oh, does your husband have a mustache?" And the woman said, "Yes, he does." And I was like, okay, hold on. I'm the person getting this with this. So know that it took a while for it to come to me and all that kind of stuff. But for y'all to know that even beforehand, to know it was a house before I told you it was a house, know that you able to express your intuition into something else and assimilate into that area. Seeing the peaks, seeing the pillars, arches, a lot of times because we doubt ourselves, we block ourselves from receiving. So doing it more and more will allow you to see more and more. The colors, y'all did great on that, and seeing the energy of it, knowing that the driveway, and even if it's on the flip side, a lot of times we can see things mirror image. So the fact that you were able to go there and know that it was a house and it had a shape, even if it wasn't exact, know that that is you opening up, and you can now trust yourself and trust your intuition and know you have that ability. But yeah, I'd love to do some Q&A, and we can even talk about the special I've got for y'all if you're interested.
No, I'd like to start out with one quick question that might help out everybody in the group. And by the way, when you do ask Kourtney a question, please keep it to one question so that we can take as many clients as possible, or take as many of you as possible, so you can all get a chance to hear from her. But I want to know, I know a lot of people who are clairaudient also have tinnitus, have this ringing in the ears. Do the angels say that that's also part of doing this work sometimes?
So here's the thing. Most of your angels have never walked the earth.
Hmm.
So when something is hurting us, unless we express it and say, ouch, that hurts, turn it down, they don't understand. So that ringing in the ears, and used to be that if it was on one side, it meant this. If it was on another side, it meant this. And then over the years, I've forgotten which one it is because I'll even hear them off both. But it's that high pitch, that, remember the old fax, dial-up fax modems? So you hear that. Okay. So that is what I consider like a download. You are being given information. You may not consciously or cognitively be aware of what the exact information is. Just kind of goes into your being. So sometimes we have the memories and we have the knowledge stored in ourselves, in our cells, in our soul, but we need something to activate it. Like maybe reading a book, reading the title of a book, purchasing something that can complete that contract, that soul contract with somebody and activate the knowledge within. So if you ever look over at your nightstand and you have 15 books and you haven't read them all, don't get mad at yourself. More than likely you had a soul contract with that person, you fulfilled it, and now that knowledge can be activated within you. And a lot of times that's what that ringing in the ears is. Obviously, I don't have any medical background. I'm not diagnosing, prescribing, or giving medical advice. Always go see your doctor, call Deb. But notice that you can tell them, hey, will you turn that down? That's a little bit too loud, or ow, that kind of hurt. Or can we do this when I'm asleep? Also, you have that kind of control over it, and that rapport with them will really help. You can also hear the sound on one side, like your angels will be on one side and spirit source God will be on the other. Again, it's been so many years I get it mixed up on which is which. And I think they switch on me now just to jack with me. Like this one, oh yeah, it's on this side. They do it just to mess with me and let me know that it can be anything. But those are those divine downloads. And we get them and you have the ability to say, not so loud.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. All right, who else has a personal or other question for Kourtney here and her angels? You can put it in the chat box. You can raise your hand. Okay, hi, Eugenia.
Hi, I just something that you make a comment about hearing like party or conversations. Just recently, yesterday and a few days ago, I started like hearing voices, like somebody talking to me, but I was in the middle of, I was distracted. I was in the middle of the lunch or something, so I was looking for who was talking to me at the table, and nobody like was not my family. And yesterday night again, I hear people talking close to me, but I couldn't hold on this. So there is any recommendation how to manage this, like how to learn from that situation, how to take the most to learn, to kind of go deeper in this experience?
Yes. And beautiful question. So sometimes we'll hear our name called, kind of once or twice, hear the phone ring. That's a little bit different than what she's talking about. You hear the noise, you hear maybe even the static, the buzz of a conversation, but not necessarily individual conversations. When you get where you're not afraid of it and you're ready to explore it, then you can say, you can think, you can write down. I try to say it out loud just so I remember that I've said it. But you can say, okay, I hear you. I can't understand you. Is there a message for me? I know you're around. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for being with me. And thank you for letting me acknowledge you. There is a caveat to this. There are people who have maybe an imbalance or have an illness, and they will hear voices very specifically talking to them, maybe even telling them negative things about themselves or telling them to do bad things.
Mm.
That's different than this. Your angels will never tell you you're a loser, you suck, or do something bad. In fact, when we get a message from our angels, we hear, take the umbrella, take the umbrella, take the umbrella. We don't get, take the umbrella because it looks like it's going to rain. That's your logic. We don't hear, take the umbrella because last time you didn't and it rained and you got soaked and you made a fool out of yourself. That's our ego. But your angels repeat the same statement in a positive sense over and over. You get that same feeling, that same inclination, that same knowing, that same hunch. It almost becomes a nagging. Drink more water, drink more water, drink more water. Right? I'm like, there's a conspiracy going on, but it's that repetitiveness over and over. What Eugenia is talking about is hearing it. There are sometimes when I lie down in bed at night and it sounds like there is like a sporting event in my den outside my bedroom. And sometimes I can hear like the radio announcer go on. Most of the time I am too tired and I say, okay, I can't tonight, but y'all come talk to me tomorrow or whatever it is you need to say. There are other times that I'll say, okay, what is it you want me to know? Now here's the catch. If you're not listening to them during the day, they will wake you up at night. And Archangel Michael loves to wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and keep me awake until I finally sit up in bed and go, okay, make it a little bit clearer. I'm wide awake now. Tell me what you want me to do. And that's usually when my emails get to go out. So fun. By the way, Archangel Michael just gave me a message for you. So listen to him during the day and ask them, have that interaction. So know that that's them coming to you and wanting to communicate with you. Meditation is a great way to do it. Just getting still, getting quiet and saying, okay, show me, tell me, I'm here. What is it you want me to know? And then if you can't get any clarity on that, call me up and say, Kourtney, I got a question for you. Can we turn it to my angels and get the answer, whatever it is they want me to know? Call somebody who's a reader who can communicate and help you get some clarity on that. Yeah. But know that that's them around you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you, Eugenia. That was wonderful. Who else?
There was a question in the chat wanting some clarity about the book.
Okay.
And I'll just touch on this really quickly. Do y'all believe in reincarnation and other lifetimes?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to be respectful of that belief. So we come into this lifetime and we have soul contracts, obligations to someone to fulfill. Maybe they saved our life in another lifetime. And so we're here to help repay that, let's say. Or we supported them in another lifetime and they're going to support us, or vice versa. So you go on and you see U Wealth Revolution or Beyond the Ordinary or one of the shows, and you go ahead and you purchase one of the programs. And then another one, another one, another one. And then you get mad at yourself because you purchased all these programs and you haven't finished them, right? Okay. Be easy on yourself. Take away the judgment, because most likely you had a soul contract with that person. And by purchasing their program, you have fulfilled that contract, that obligation to support them, to support the spiritual community. So even if you look over and you have the 15 stack of books on your nightstand, you haven't read them all, know that whenever it's the right time, or if there's something more you're supposed to do with those books, you will be guided to that. So if you can take away the judgment and just know that it's in divine timing and it's in order, you may pull out a book and go, okay, and open it up and read one paragraph. And that may be exactly what you needed to activate the knowledge within you. And now you go, oh my gosh, I know that. I don't know how I know that, but it could be even linked back to reading that one paragraph in the book, because then you've activated all the knowledge in the book. And it's different for each thing. So fulfilling those soul contracts, those soul obligations, there's no room for judgment in that kind of stuff. You do what you're called to do. Be easy on yourself.
That's great, great advice, because so often we are way too hard on ourselves. The guides tell us this all the time. And now I see that there's more people that have questions, and we will love to answer them in a minute. But Kourtney, you were just talking about buying programs from people. You have something, from shows. You have something to offer our group. Before you answer more questions, would you tell us a little bit about what you want to offer the inner sanctuary people here today? And
Yes.
listen later, of course.
So, Michael, Archangel Michael, he's like our BFF, watches over our personal safety, our financial security. He's the one with the sword. He guides us through life. Well, he and I go way back, right? If I'm not getting the message during the day, he wakes me up. So a few years ago, he came to me and said, it's time for you to redo your business. And I was very resistant. And I said, no, we're not doing that. And then after being awakened and up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I had no choice but to listen. So I am totally revamping the way I do my business, and I'm actually phasing out readings and teaching people how to do readings so that they can be certified readers, and I'll promote them on my website. But what I am offering y'all is a 30-minute session. Now, in this session, it's a reading, excuse me, where I'm going to be connecting with your angels, your guides, infinite council, the masters, God, source, creator, spirit, and answering your questions, whatever it is you want to know. And what's neat is there are no wrong questions or a question too big, too small, or anything like that. So you'll get this 30-minute session. Now, what I've gone and done is I told you I'm revamping my business. The other part of my business that I'm doing is really going more into mentoring, where I'm helping people change things about their life, removing the invisible that's holding them back from getting to where they're supposed to be, the highest version of themselves. So you'll be getting a 30-minute reading, but also a little bit of a strategy session from your angels and guides that are telling you what you need in your life right now to get from where you are to where you want to be. So the reading could be, I'm looking at this job or this job. Should I take this one? I'm thinking of starting this business or starting this business. Which one should I do? I will get those answered in your readings. But then at the strategy session, we talk about what it is you really want and what's blocking you, because sometimes we have energetic blocks that keep us from achieving our dreams. And some of that has to do with fear. Some of it has to do with other lifetimes, vows or commitments we've made in another lifetime. I have a client who is an author, and she said, I've got this feeling I'm supposed to be invisible and I'm not supposed to be seen, but it means my book isn't selling and I'm not doing well and I'm not doing, book signings and stuff. So when we went into this mentoring session and I started working with her, I said, oh, you've got some energy that's blocking you. And yes, almost feeling oppressive, holding you down, keeping you invisible. We went through and we cleared it. And if y'all have ever done healing, you know how you might yawn or cough, do things that release this as it processes in your body. She was yawning and yawning and yawning. I said, go take a nap, but I want to talk to you here in about an hour and a half. So she called back an hour and a half and I said, how are you feeling? Are you tired? You did a lot of work. She said, yes, I went to go lie down, but I couldn't sleep. She said, Kourtney, after about 10 minutes of being in there, my phone rang. And she said, it was Times Square. And they called and said, we want to take your book and put it up on the Jumbotron, the marquee, and we want to advertise it. And we'd like for you to come out and do a book signing so we can promote you and your book. And it was like, oh my gosh, how do you feel? And she said, like I'm on the red carpet going to the Academy Awards. And I said, well, so much for being invisible. So that kind of stuff is really where the energy, where my business is going, in the direction they've got me headed. So know that we'll be doing, yeah, you're reading, where's my bracelet? Should I marry this person? That kind of stuff. But also going into the strategy for what's going to get you to our highest version. Now, with this promotion, we're also doing some meditation. And know that if you listen to these meditations and you don't like my voice on them, just turn the volume down. It still works. clearing into the future meditation, when you start removing things that are blocking you, you can have a clearer vision. And one of the ways you manifest in the quantum is visualization and emotion. That's what your subconscious recognizes. So clearing into the future meditation where you visualize it is one of those ways of really putting it out there what you're wanting to manifest. The other one, the Archangel Michael meditation, he's the one I call on for everything. So it can even be, I don't have anything to wear. I'm still going to call on Michael. Yes, if I think about it, I'll remember to call on Jophiel, the angel of beauty, because she can help me pick out the outfit. But Michael is my go-to. And this one, I'll guide you through the meditation where you can meet the archangels and meet Archangel Michael. One of the biggest reasons we don't get our messages or see our signs is because we are so burdened with everything that's gone on during the day. Like the one who is having the people leave her house while she's trying to tune in, right? So this nighttime clearing meditation, do it at night as you're going to sleep. If you fall asleep to it, it's fine. It still works. But this is releasing everything from the day. You've got a coworker who has been a jerk, or you've had, that horrible conversation that you just can't stop thinking about. We clear that away. And it doesn't mean that we're condoning someone's actions or excusing someone's bad behavior. But we're saying we're no longer willing to hold in that toxic energy. And this meditation clears not just you, but where you are, your space, your residence, can even extend out to the people in it. So extremely, extremely powerful. And it'll help you get a good night's sleep, as well as you're going to stop rehashing all the bad stuff. The Archangel Michael meditation, this is where we talk to him specifically, get to know him. Looks like the other one was mislabeled. I apologize on that. But this is really getting familiar with Michael, what he can do and everything that he helps you with.
Beautiful.
And this week we went ahead and gave you a discount on it. So when you sign up for the reading, it will come back. The confirmation will say 30-minute session. Give yourself an hour, okay? Because this really is going to be an hour that we're going to be spending together, up to an hour.
Beautiful. And by the way, I put the link to this in the chat box. It's the top. If you could go all the way into your chat box, go all the way to the top. There's the link to get into this very page that I am in, and you can click right here, add to your cart. She has offered this, look at this, $729 value. It's like 45% off. What a beautiful gift. All of these beautiful meditations. Who doesn't have trouble sleeping? I mean, we all need all of these, right? What a beautiful value, in addition to a 30 to 60-minute session with this woman who is this angel, I call her, sent to us from the heavens for sure. So get your private one-on-one with Kourtney. Now, Kourtney, is there a limit to this? How long are we going to keep this active for the folks who are going to be listening to it later? Because
I guess totally drastically redoing my business model and business plan, really phasing out the readings. So this is going to be a limited number of spots. We'll keep this up for, what do you think? Deb, I'll let you decide. You want to do it a week, 10 days? But
do it 2 weeks.
2 weeks. But it's going to be a really limited number of spots. I think we decide between 10 or 15 spots for y'all to go in there and get that scheduled. I just don't have enough time during my week because I do have so many other clients doing the mentoring. But I'd do anything in the world for Deb, and when she asked me about this, I said, yes, definitely. And y'all are already so amazing. So yes, we'll leave this up for a couple of weeks.
We'll get back to a few questions here, and we'll just go a few more minutes. Katie, you have had your hand raised for a while. What's your question?
Oh, I am so fascinated by angels, Kourtney, and I just I always call it when something comes to my field, I call it angel bumps. But my question is, I know I've been doing a lot of reading on angels lately, and I know that there are different levels of angels. There's the higher order, the middle order, and the lowest order. And how do you know when you're connecting to the different orders of the angels?
When I go in, so I ground first before I go in. And then it's almost like this tube that comes up and out, and I go up. My intention is set that I go straight to the highest divine light, the source, the highest plane. If I slow it down and go through each level, there are times that I can feel the difference. When I am tuning into someone, usually I get to tune in kind of right here above my head. But there are some people who have a higher vibration, and I will go up higher and meet their vibration there. And that's really fun because then I get to play around in that energy way, way, way up high. It's not very common, but I am still with their angels in that vibration way, way, way up there, or right here, wherever it is, because my rules of engagement state that that's who I'm connecting with. When I first started off and doing angelology, study of angels, I decided I needed to know every single thing about everyone and all the different stuff. And then I felt like I was back in college having to study for an exam, and it was no longer fun. And so I said, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this, and y'all are going to show me what you want to show me. And however I see you, I see you. What's interesting is when I first started seeing the angels, it was like I would look over and see the road, a hot road on a summer's day where it has that convection, that wave,
Yeah.
that mirage almost. I would see that, see a little bit of a fuzziness. As I started doing it more and more and became getting more comfortable with it, they come through and I see more detail now. A few years ago, Michael showed up in full armor, and I'd never seen him like that. It gives me angel bumps.
Angel bumps.
Just to even think about that.
Mm.
Metatron used to come through as the sacred geometry, the Merkaba, that shape, and it would float through. And I was like, oh, okay, Metatron's here. But a few years ago, he came through, and I looked up and I went, oh my gosh. And so I'm seeing this huge transformer, at least 30 feet tall. He was part transformer, part Terminator, part Andre the Giant. And he walked out, and I was like, you're going to take out the front of my house. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then, he just walked through the front. So over the years, becoming more familiar with them, different details have stood out. And I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, this, like a boardroom has like that big long table, for the board of directors, right? That came down from my ceiling, and I was like, what is going on? And there were all these beings sitting around at this board of directors table. And I was like, y'all are like Infinite Council was the name I got. And I started talking with some colleagues, and they were like, that's the Intergalactic Council. I said, well, that explains the ET and different ETs that were there, and the masters and beings. So as your skills open up and increase, and as you do this more, you find that you can zoom in and zoom out. You can say, oh, go at it from a different energy, or wait a minute, which one are you? And so I tried not to get too caught up in the technical stuff, because my logical analytical mind wanted to make sure I was doing it right and check all the boxes. But it was actually hindering my right brain that was allowing me to open up and receive the messages. But great question. Setting that intention of saying, no, I'm only going to the top, or hey, I only want to tune into the seraphim angels today. You can do that too.
Okay.
Great
Thank
question.
you. Thank you, Kourtney.
You're welcome.
And Renee, you've been so patient. Welcome. What's your
Hi,
question?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. First, Kourtney, thank you so much for everything that you've shared today. It's been wonderful. So I really appreciate that. But I was just curious what the angels are saying. So probably for the last 2 months, maybe a little bit longer, I've been waking up with pressure in my third eye, primarily in my third eye. And, I have a couple of different opinions of my own of what I think it is, but I was just curious on what you're getting.
Do you mind if I tune in?
No, please.
Okay. So Renee, how old are you?
Big trick question, 46.
Okay. They're telling me 43 was a pivotal age for you, and you don't have to confirm or deny it. It's just what they were telling me. And so I wrote it in, and that's just to let you know that I tell you everything. Where are you geographically?
Colorado.
Colorado. Okay. You've been doing some work on this. Okay. So immediately when I tune in, you have been doing some work. You've also gotten to a point in your life where you're wanting to open it up. There's still part of you that's a little bit resistant. Is that fair to say? Okay.
It is.
And come on, we've been so conditioned by society, woo woo, don't have imaginary friends. You didn't see that. So sure, there's naturally a little bit of resistance. And coming out of the spiritual closet is probably the hardest thing. Telling people, I see things. I talk to dead people. I mean, that's always a fun conversation, right? So there's a little bit of that. You are really, really great with kids. And I don't like to ask questions during the reading. Know that you are naturally a teacher, a healer, a role model. Kids will gravitate to you. Animals will gravitate to you. It's probably why my dog jumped up and over onto my desk, because they love this energy. And you have a lot of what we call fairy energy, nature, outdoors, environment. Does that resonate? Is that accurate?
It does, yes.
Okay. So on this, they have been pushing you. And it may have even been 43 was the age that they started nagging you about do more, learn more, get more involved with this. So that pressure you're feeling is your third eye wanting to open. One of the things you can do is, this is rose quartz. Can y'all see this? If I get it up a little closer, does that help? Rose quartz, and you can get them in a polished stone. You can get it in a rough, unpolished stone. This is kind of a half and half. Rose quartz you can put on your heart, helps your heart open up and not be so guarded or cold toward love. But rose quartz or any other kind of quartz, you can put right here on your third eye and even kind of swipe it up a little bit and set the intention that you want to use that to help open your third eye. The biggest thing for you is knowing that you're safe. So as you do this, ask your angels to be around you and to have you feel safe. Because if you think about it, in other lifetimes, we have been beheaded, we have been tortured, burned at the stake, killed, called witches and everything, exiled away from our families because we had these gifts. So when we come into this lifetime, we still have these gifts, but our soul remembers the torture. It goes, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's right there, Renee, and I can feel it because it goes good, and I can feel it's almost like a headache. And you go, okay, how do I? The sinus headache? Most of the time, it's not. You can drink the caffeine, take the Claritin and all that kind of stuff, and see if it'll go away. When it doesn't, reach over and grab that clear quartz crystal. You can kind of flick it up like that, or you can even take it and go all the way back to the back of your head, right here in the middle, and use that and help. That'll help open it. But the biggest thing for you is to remind yourself that you're safe. It is safe for you to see. It is safe for you to know. It is safe for you to hear, to feel, and it is safe for you to speak and to speak your truth. A lot of times that will manifest. I know Deb's talked to y'all about how that energy will block those energy centers. So yeah, does that make sense?
It does. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Kourtney.
You're welcome so much. Love it.
All right, we'll take one more question if somebody has a quick one. Chat box or raise your hand. Okay, let's just, okay, Eugenia, hi.
Quick question. It is possible for humans to have wings like angels?
let's see. Okay, so Michael just said yes before I could even go into it. So I want to know, okay, wait, show me someone who we know. Can you show me someone we know who has wings?
You
He goes,
you have wings, right?
he said, we all have wings. Okay, so how do we all have wings? They're there. Oh, go back into that again. Who is this? That was me? Oh, that's so wild. I've never been asked this before, Eugenia. So he just showed me that we all have wings. He showed me when, and I'd almost forgotten this, back in like 1993, I was in this horrible car wreck. Should have died, but head on into a tree, the steering wheel just collapsed and cut me all up and messed me up. But I remember seeing, and then of course you don't tell anybody, but I remember seeing a person standing in front of that tree and I thought it had wings. Angel dots everywhere, angel bumps. Angel dots, as my kids call them, angel bumps. I remember that person having wings and seeing them and just being like, oh, but I didn't tell anybody. So Michael just showed me that that was actually me with wings standing there. Now, he and I are going to have a long chat about how that happens and what that is and how that all transpired. But he's showing that. Interesting question. So now you got to share. What made you decide to ask this question?
Yeah.
I see your wings. I can feel your wings. That is
Never-
why I asked content and I couldn't. I need to know if you know you have wings.
I didn't know I had wings until you just brought it out and Michael just showed me. I had no clue. Never in my life had I even thought about if I had wings or if I didn't. But gosh, now it's like it makes sense and I can,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Do you feel it?
I'm going to sound like a total nut job. They're going to lock me away. But yeah, it's like,
Yeah, that's beautiful. So how many of you, why don't you just take a quick minute right now? Let's tune in to our shoulder blades in the back and just feel what you feel. Do you feel actual wings coming up and out of your shoulder blades? I see some flapping. You guys are happy. Yeah. Almost like you, some of you are seeing them as very small and they're encouraging you to flap them a little bit more and get them, see them larger and larger and larger, almost until they don't feel heavy, but they look like they would be heavy because they're very actually lightweight. Remember,
isn't
they're all
that wild?
feathers.
Because I was going, it's not like it's painful. It's not
No.
like they're just so heavy like a backpack or something. It's like, but I can feel a little bit different. And then I was like, let me see if I can go all the way up with it. It's like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, they're very, very lightweight. Remember, they're all feathers, but they're coming out of your shoulder blades. And so use them, walk around the grocery store with them furled out, walk through your day with them just wake up every morning and open them up wide and walk through your day like this. Own your those angelic pieces and parts of yourself. Why not? Right? Even if you've never thought of yourself as angelic before, why not start? Linda says that amazing because her mom used to say that her shoulder blades were her wings and maybe she could see them. Maybe. So this has been so wonderful, Kourtney. Thank you so much for giving us your time today and your beautiful wisdom and the fun exercises that you had us work through with you today, seeing your beautiful home and all, like I said, all the wisdom that you brought. I so appreciate you. I've seen some comments. Yes, everyone is agreeing with me just how wonderful and enlightening and blessed this morning was with you. So thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me. I totally enjoyed this. Y'all really, really are amazingly talented. And if there's anything I can do to help you on your path and to help get you some clarity, guide you, open up your gifts more, I would love love to work with each and every one of you. Yes, definitely. Mwah! I love you all. Thank you so much for allowing me this time. I've really enjoyed it.
And on
Thank
that,
you.
we'll say goodbye. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for helping us soar into 2023. Until next time. Bye-bye.